So yeah, in 1990, like they were doing WrestleMania 6, so he'd been gone for a while, and he did like this. It was a real quick one, but it was just for WrestleMania. Bad News Brown. So Roddy Piper paints himself half black, which no one knows why he did it. He wasn't asked to by Vince McMahon or anything.
It's only half blackface, so it's not that big.
Yeah, he did half blackface, and he literally went from forehead to like the bottom of his. He went all out because Roddy Piper. He's going through like airports.
That sucks.
Half blackface. He got stabbed 3 times, or he was stabbed 3 different times. I can't remember what.
I think it's different times, but I'm not sure.
3 different times, and this isn't like just Roddy Piper. Like this program with Hulk Hogan, where they bring in Mr. T, and like for real, Roddy Piper fucking hated Mr. T. So,
in real life?
Yeah, like in real life. So they actually he's like in a match in WrestleMania 3 with Adrian Adonis. Yeah, it's WrestleMania 3, and then he just disappears after that. So why does he disappear?
In the latter days of the 20th century, there arose a difference of opinion.
Welcome to Schlock Jocks. I'm Greg.
I'm Tim.
And we talk about bad movies. We have an irrational love for the irreverent. We like to talk about movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Specifically movies that have a cult following.
Bad movies.
Yeah, we are the leaders of the cult of bad taste. And have been since this episode.
That's right.
That's right. So now that we have that out of the way, we actually chose a different movie for our first episode, and through a comedy of errors, ended up with this one being our first episode. And it is a little flick from 1988 called Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Starring one Mr. Roddy Piper.
Yes. It is the preeminent film about anthropomorphic frog people.
And this, I think one could say it's the seminal film of 1988, starring Roddy Piper, that is not They Live.
Yeah. Not titled They Live. Which, obviously, Roddy Piper is more known for, is his role in They Live.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. It's a perfect film. In very many ways. And still holds up today. And the message still holds up today.
Oh, yeah.
Probably more than ever, actually.
Yeah, shit.
John Carpenter knew his shit.
Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted to see this film is I grew up probably an unhealthy, irrational pro wrestling fan. Me and my grandpa watched pretty much every pay-per-view. So it's like my bonding experience with him. So Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Bret the Hitman Hart. Like, that was my era. I probably didn't watch They Live until I was in my 20s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it came much after. I was too busy, watching Mr. Nanny.
Jesus Christ.
Thunder in Paradise.
Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando. Yeah. No, but that's what, that's what brought me to this film. Roddy Piper obviously is the draw, as he was in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
He's the draw while you're watching it.
2 main reasons I wanted to see this flick. One was obviously Roddy Piper, because like with you, like from the same kind of school of wrestling from back in those days, like I loved this shit when I was a kid. I wasn't like a super fan like you, but I certainly enjoyed it. Roddy Piper was obviously charismatic and enjoyable. But for me, it was mostly because not only was it Roddy Piper, it was They Live, man. I love They Live. I love John Carpenter. Halloween may be my favorite horror movie of all time. I love They Live, so the fact that Roddy Piper was doing something else, I wanted to see it because he was so awesome as Nada in They Live. And I remember years ago, me and my buddy, we tried to Netflix it through the mail, and we got maybe, 10 or 15 minutes into it, and then the disc just took crap on us because it was just all jacked up,
Yeah.
So that was maybe 10 or so years ago, I can't remember, but, so I just never got to see it, so I've gone all these years afterwards trying to see it, but video stores were going on, on the way out, so I just never really got a chance, so for this, I was really excited to do it.
And this movie clearly doesn't have the following They Live has.
No, definitely not.
It's a much smaller cult following.
Yeah.
And also, this movie is pretty important because it's essentially the reason John Carpenter chose Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he saw he was like easy to direct, and like Piper wanted to do a good job of his performance for when he did Hell Comes to Frogtown, and so like Piper had like the look and the background that Carpenter wanted, but he also knew that he was easy to work with and wanted to do as good as he could, easy to direct. So basically, the studio that made Hell Comes to Frogtown forced the filmmakers to put a wrestler in the lead role, and that was Piper. And basically because of studio interference, we got They Live as We Know It. So kudos to them.
Corporate greed always wins.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
It's good for society.
Yeah. It worked this one time, anyhow.
Yeah, because they didn't want a wrestler. I think we found out, but
yeah,
over time they ended up liking Roddy.
Yeah,
and then eventually that led to John Carpenter wanting Roddy. So that's another tie-in too, as the director had worked with wrestlers before.
Yeah, he did that documentary in '85. I Like to Hurt People, and that's why the studio wanted a wrestler in the lead role, because that movie apparently made them some money, so they wanted to kind of capitalize on that, and that's why they forced them to cast a wrestler in the title role of Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Yeah,
so that worked out.
And this is I think this is the reason this movie was the reason Roddy Piper took a break from wrestling. So in 1987 he took a break. He didn't come back till like 1990 because he's making They Live, trying to do the whole Hollywood thing. Mm-hmm. And like most wrestlers, he came back. Even The Rock comes back from time to time.
Yeah,
Mr. Most successful wrestler ever. I think they all appreciate where they come from, typically. We've explained why we give a shit about this movie, but like, why should other people really care about this movie? So, basically, what did you like about the film? What's good about it?
Piper, first and foremost. I just love watching that guy act because he's naturalistic. You know, he comes across as himself anytime he's acting. You see all those little nuances from his like stage persona in wrestling come through in his acting. He's just fun to watch, and he sells it. You know, you believe him as whatever role he's doing.
And let's explain that his role in this movie, he is one of the last fertile males left on Earth. He's captured by, what would you say? It's like a military subsidized like science.
That makes med tech. That was what they're called. So yeah,
some sort of corporation. He has a chastity belt put on him, and he's kidnapped for the reason of being taken to Frogtown, where there's been a harem kidnapped.
A harem of fertile women.
Yes. So apparently being fertile isn't a common thing, so it's important in this post-apocalyptic world they live in. And the goal is to get him there, rescue the harem, and he's going to impregnate everybody in the harem.
Repopulate the world.
Yeah. Because he is sought after sperm.
Yeah, his reputation precedes him as a virile man.
Yeah.
You know, he's forced to wear this electrified diaper, essentially, so they can kind of control when and where he does his job.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because he can't do it whenever he wants. They
Right.
have to keep him, like... There's times throughout the movie where his co-star...
Sandal
Bergman. Scientist lady, I call her. What's her name in the movie?
Spangle.
Has to keep him, like, aroused. Because they need him as potent as they can get it. But he's not allowed to, like, release that. So he's basically trekking through the desert with blue balls for, like, 4 days.
Yeah, pretty much. It's funny to watch her try to keep his blood up, because she's kind of awkward when she kind of tries to seduce him in these little dances, and she acts like she's going to come on to him, and then she pulls away, and every guy hates that. So it's kind of fun to watch.
Well, he actually does hate it.
Well, he doesn't want to do any of this shit. No. He wants to live his life, you know.
He wants no part of this.
They've literally got him by the balls, and he can't do anything about it. So he hates all of what's happening.
Yeah.
And then you got her in her underwear dancing around him, and then walking away and pissing him off even more.
Yeah, and then you got the mercenary chick, Sentinella, who just jumps in the sack with him.
Right.
And you get your only tee shot of the movie.
Yep. But then Spangle sees that happening and kicks her out. You know.
Yeah, she's jealous.
Can't let her do that.
Because women, they like to catfight over.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
And then
she's not very professional here.
No.
I mean, he's such a beefcake, though. I guess
Yeah.
maybe that's why. You know, like she doesn't like seeing
Let's
any
face
other
it.
woman. But
You're in a room. Roddy Piper's walking around without a shirt.
I'd be staring.
Yeah, right.
I'm not even gay, and I'd be staring.
Yeah. Oh, it's not gay.
Maybe I'm gay. I don't know.
Well, I think we're all a little.
Just a little bit gay.
Where does gayness come from, and how is it transmitted?
Oh, and then there's some uncomfortable scenes.
Yeah. So Piper essentially rapes a woman.
Yeah, but he's forced to. So in a way, he's being raped too.
A little bit, yeah.
She's not my type, huh?
Your type?
Yeah.
You have preferences.
Well, yeah, if I kind of know her and there's a little chemistry there and, a little atmosphere would be nice.
Neither of them want to do it.
That's a weird scene, man. That
Yeah.
woman shows up out of nowhere in the desert, and they...
Yeah, we've called her feral woman.
Feral woman, yeah. She's like one of the harem, and she got away, so they immediately
She's dirty.
find her. She's dirty as hell, and they find her. I'm like, okay, get to work, Roddy Piper. So he does.
And they drug her.
That's right, they drug her.
Yeah.
So she's like crazy high and practically begging for it, but she's under the influence, so it's
We're gonna
kind of creepy.
We're gonna spicy a Bill Cosby there.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yes. Look at him.
That happens, and she's grateful for it, which is kind of even
Yeah,
more
like the next
uncomfortable.
morning she's happy and like hugging and kissing on him and cleaned up.
But once
magically.
again, we're in a world where reproducing is of utmost importance.
Utmost, yeah. So apparently rape is a hurdle that you just have to get over.
Yeah, it's not really a law.
Different time, Greg. Different time.
Different time.
Yeah.
Different time and place. People
Yeah.
thought differently.
Exactly.
In the future, when
Right.
frogs are people.
Right.
And,
Yes.
So yeah, they. While a lot of good happens in there, this may be one of the more boring parts of the film. It's kind of the trek through the desert.
Yeah.
It really picks up
Once they get to Frogtown.
They get to Frogtown, which is just this industrial wasteland.
Before we get into that, I just want to mention how the first half of the movie feels like a movie you would see on USA Up All Night
Oh, yeah.
with constant sexual, I don't know if you call it really sexual tension, but scantily clad females, sex thrown at you kind of left and right.
Yeah.
Not actual sex, but the hint of sex.
Yeah.
It's just
The
kind of
illusion
right.
of sex.
It's just weird. The tone of the movie is really different in the beginning.
It
For
is.
whatever reason, you almost think well, actually, the Randall Frakes, the writer, in an interview he did with Slash Film, he said it was the original script was a lot more raunchy than what the studio allowed. So perhaps there was just a whole lot of sex going on in the beginning, and they kind of had to veer away from that in the final cut. So who knows? But yeah, the beginning of the movie is just tonally way off from the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's almost set up like a sex comedy.
Right? Yeah, it is.
It's
got that kind of goofiness to it with gratuitous nudity or scantily clad Sandal Bergman. It doesn't really need to be there, but it's there.
But that's also, I guess, a problem with this movie. I don't want to call it a problem, but there's an issue. This movie doesn't really have a genre.
Yeah.
It's part comedy. It's not really an action film, although it has action scenes. It's not a horror film.
No, not
by any means.
No, it's definitely not trying to be.
No.
It's
science fiction.
It's kind of sci-fi. It's kind of creature film. It's kind of sex comedy. It's
kind of
of
all
action.
these things.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amalgamation of all these different genres into
Yeah.
one flick. So tonally,
It didn't have a lot of focus.
yes. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very focused.
Whoever
But-
wrote the script was kind of all over the place.
But again, they also kind of lost control over the film, creative
Yeah.
control from the studio. So who knows what went on behind the scenes? The studio gave us Roddy Piper, but they could have totally jacked up
the rest of it.
the rest of the movie. Who knows?
Well, like you said, it was supposed to be raunchier.
Right.
So it's set up like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really end up like that.
Yeah, it doesn't really go
especially
anywhere.
once they get to Frogtown. The movie
Yeah.
completely changes. And it gets really entertaining from there.
Yeah. You meet all the other colorful characters.
Yeah. And that's what I kind of like the characters from here on out.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you're really getting into what makes it a B movie. Or
Yeah,
a
that's
cult movie
right. Because that's
or-
where all the kind of bad but still somewhat decent effects come into play, and the bad acting, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like when you meet what's his name, Leroy, the black market guy in this
Yeah.
sweet ass white suit.
What is this?
Blood. Boiled baby tortoise and brown lizard. I grind them up together to make a paste out of them.
So I asked.
gesture, Mr. Hell. You see it so rarely these days.
Yeah, he's clearly supposed to be a black man, like if frogs could be a race.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, a white man couldn't pull that suit off.
No.
You know, I couldn't pull that suit off.
No.
So, Leroy's got that really deep voice.
Yeah, it's very James Earl Jonesy.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
So, yeah, you get Leroy. I like the prosthetics, and it's funny because they probably have a limited budget.
Well, yeah, of course.
So only some of the only some of the masks move.
Yeah.
The rest of them are just like
your main characters'
Yeah.
masks are decent. You got who's the dancer lady? The dancer lady. What the hell's her name?
I don't remember her name.
I don't remember her name.
Dancer Frog Lady. Shit, what is her name? I don't. Amelia?
Amelia?
Emily?
Sharon?
Yeah. Karen?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So you got Arabella, the dancing girl who comes on Roddy Piper.
Belle of the Ball.
The Belle of the Ball. Very nice legs. I'll give her that for a frog person.
Very.
Her mask outfit looked pretty good, you know, and Leroy looked good. Then you have all the kind of the frog people in the background.
Yeah, just the people in the background. Their masks are static.
Yeah,
they don't move.
Yeah, so they look pretty bad, but you know, you're not really looking at them anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
They don't matter.
But you get Bull, who was my favorite. He's a bullfrog. He's got that neck bubble thing that works.
Yeah. Well, he's a bullfrog.
Blowing up and in and out. So that worked really well.
And Bull's that's just a fantastic
character. That overacting, man, it's phenomenal. I don't know if that guy was intentionally doing that. I don't know if he thought he was doing a good job. I don't know if the director told him to do that, but good God, man. He was fantastic. The way he delivered his lines was so ridiculous and over the top. Perfect for this kind of movie, you know.
Private Barton. Well, yes, Bull.
Shut your hole! I said it was high bid 5, flat lips.
In the harem. Being prepared for a night she'll never forget.
And back to Leroy though, like his product placement.
Oh, the Coors beer,
Michael Beer.
Yeah, so that's where they got the budget.
Yeah, from Coors.
There's one outright, not subtle moment of product placement. He just turns the bottle. Clearly, it's a Coors.
Yeah.
They focus on it for like 2 seconds.
It's right, dead center of the shot, man.
Yeah.
It was
Coors, the banquet beer.
Which is weird. I don't know how Coors would have got involved with this.
Yeah, not something you would think a major company would really associate themselves with this kind of movie, but maybe they just didn't know what they were getting into. Maybe it was because Piper was attached. They thought, oh, Roddy Piper, big-time wrestler. A lot of people see this movie.
Could be.
Who knows? But they did it. They probably regretted it after the fact, but it's there and it's pretty damn funny.
Yeah. Which also, we also get introduced to Rory Calhoun.
Yes.
Looney Tunes.
Motel Hell fame.
Yes. Other fans would know him from Motel Hell.
That's all I know him from.
He runs the hotel?
Yeah, him and that woman.
Been a while since I've seen him.
Yeah, him and that woman, they got their like garden of people that they buried in the ground.
They turn them into sausage?
I don't remember.
Yeah, they like feed them to people or something.
Okay, that sounds right.
Yeah, it's another schlocky like 80s or late 70s classic.
Yeah.
But my first introduction to Rory Calhoun was a wonderful little flick from the 90s called Pure Country.
Never seen it.
Oh man, you haven't seen acting until you see George.
Oh, you've told me some shit, man. I'm happy to watch it. It sounds awful.
It's a funny thing about that little white speck on top of chicken shit. So that little white speck is chicken shit too.
It's in the So Bad It's Good. For me, at least, because I grew up listening to country music. I was kind of forced to. I hated it. But I know George Strait. I've actually seen him in concert. I've kind of held a fandom for him. Far longer than I probably should have, even being a metalhead. And he's one. I can't stand like Garth Brooks or anything like that, but for some reason I like George Strait. But he plays like an old wise man in that one. Yeah, so Rory Calhoun, he brings the comedic relief. I really like his character. He has like these one-liners that just really don't make any damn sense.
And self-proclaimed professional road flare shooter. Or
so
whatever.
He's been there's this whole moment where they have to like shoot the road flare they have to signal Centinela, who's waiting with the car,
right.
And they're trying to decide who's going to shoot the road flare, and his answer is,
I've been firing flares ever since before they disbanded the Dodgers.
So he's clearly very proud of it. And he knows what he's doing, so he's the man you want to signal with a road flare.
If you need a road flare, he's your man.
He's your man. So he's very proud.
Yeah.
But I did like how they, the little part of the movie where the dance of the three snakes. You know,
the three snakes.
I really, really wish you could have seen. The three snakes, for those who haven't seen it, are
three penises.
Three penises belonging to Commander Toady. He's the big bad of the movie, and he's got three penises. You don't ever actually get to see them, though, unfortunately. They're under some loose clothing, so you see like 3 points of articulation. That's all you get. So it was really a real bummer, because I'm sure like anyone in the special effects department would have absolutely loved to get their hands, no pun intended,
on penises.
on the three frog penises. And like that would probably just be really fun to make. They can make them pretty grotesque, I'd imagine. That probably would have had a lot of fun. But maybe the studio cut that out or didn't let them include that in the budget. I don't know, but you don't get to see the three snakes, and it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, because why tease something like this?
Yeah, something like that. You got to put it in there.
You got to get the payoff.
Yeah,
I want to see three damn grotesque penises.
It's like in Evil.
The whole movie's like building up to her moment here.
Yeah,
like this is the climax, and we don't get it.
Yeah, it's like in Evil Ed when they mention the beaver rape scene in one of their movies.
There is no beaver rape
They
scene.
never actually show.
I want you to answer a simple question. Can you do that for me? And tell me this. Where in the fuck is my beaver rape scene?
It's out, of course.
Are you nuts? That scene's worth a fortune.
Why would you come up with something as brilliant as that and not actually show it? But who knows when I'm behind the scenes.
But we can imagine.
Yeah,
we can imagine maybe it was like the Tremors monster.
Yeah, I like to think it was as Gwar, Odorous Youngest, the singer from Gwar, like his little cuttlefish, some little creature with teeth.
There's actually a movie called Teeth.
I've seen it.
Yeah. She has vagina dentata.
Yep, that's right, vagina dentata. That poor bastard gets his dick bit off. That sucks, man. That was a good movie.
Women really can kill you with their vagina.
They certainly can. Overall, it was a fun movie. There's some shit to like in it. That it's also, like we were talking about, tonally inconsistent. Overall, like I think expectations for me for this movie were really high, just because I let them get that high, because we watched the trailer before we watched the movie, and that trailer kind of compacts all the crazy shit in this movie into 2 minutes or whatever, as many trailers tend to do. So just the fact that I've been waiting years and years to see this movie, and then we watched that trailer, and it looked just batshit crazy off the wall.
Yeah,
I was super excited. So it kind of was disappointing the first viewing when I saw it, because I guess I was expecting more. It was a little slower than I thought, But then when we watched it again, the second viewing, I was able to appreciate it a lot more. I caught a lot more things that I missed beforehand. So I thought it was just a lot better the second time around. But still, I think it didn't really quite live up to a lot of the stuff I've seen online and people kind of talking about it and giving a lot of, a lot of praise. That I might not go so far as to agree with all of that, but it was certainly a fun, schlocky movie with Roddy Piper.
Yeah. And I think it exists in that, like, it's obviously not to the quality of, like, a They Live.
No,
or,
John Carpenter's the master. You can't.
Or even, like, an Evil Dead.
Sure.
So when you're talking about, like, schlock that is also legendary, and it's actually, like, accepted as, like, this is just good.
Yeah. Even
though it's schlocky and campy. And, we've already talked about, like, Friday the 13th, and it's not going to be on that level, but it's also not, like, it's not in the so bad it's good. Because there is some good acting.
Yeah, no, Piper's solid, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of exists in this purgatory where, yeah, it's schlocky and campy, but it didn't go one direction either way. It didn't try to be a legit good movie. It also didn't go so far with the camp and the schlock that you could, it doesn't go into that, like, trauma territory.
No, definitely not.
And I think it suffers from that.
Yeah, well,
it just kind of exists in the middle point.
And I think it's just because, like, the focus of the movie, like you said, was just all over the place, so it didn't really have any one direction that it went with,
Yeah, because I think part of what makes these movies, bad movies, great is either someone thinks they're actually making a good movie and they're trying to, but they have no idea how to. So you get into like that Ed Wood type stuff.
Sure.
Or you're very self-aware of what you're making. You need to know who you are.
Yeah.
And that's like Trauma. And, they know they're making bad movies. Sam Raimi knows he's making bad movies because they're just having fun doing it. And it's almost by accident that those movies become classics. Although Sam Raimi obviously had talent. Even though he was making Evil Dead, they knew they were making a shit movie. They put the graphics in it, and Bruce Campbell was funny. Whoever wrote the script was funny. And Sam Raimi knows how to make a freaking movie.
Well, just his direction style was so revolutionary. Just the camera angles that they had done, never really seen that before.
No.
So that was breaking ground right there, and that's one of the reasons those movies stand the test of time, because it was just not anything you'd seen before.
No. And this doesn't have anything like that. It doesn't have anything that stands out as groundbreaking, or it's just one of those movies. It has a cult following mainly because of the premise, I think.
Well, yeah,
it's pretty ridiculous.
Right. It's frog people, and Roddy Piper has to impregnate a bunch of women to repopulate the world in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. So yeah, the premise is great.
Yeah.
It's wholly original, at least as far as I know. And of course, it's got Roddy Piper, so there's your star appeal right there.
Yeah, you got your draw.
Yeah.
It's got a ridiculous premise. There's even possibly another town with anthropomorphic eagles running around.
They mentioned, briefly mentioned there's an eagle town, so that's interesting world building.
So that's just kind of left hanging too, just like
another thing, like
like the penises.
Yeah, they touch on so many things in this movie that they never really follow through. Just Piper's character has certain aspects like they almost start to get in development, but they never quite get to it. Like where he mentions he has a daughter and he wears her necklace. But they touch on that, but never go any further. And that's kind of the whole movie for me. A lot of teasing. A lot of setting up, with no payoff. Yeah, and we were talking about, just kind of loses its focus throughout. But it's a fun movie to watch, especially if you're drinking, hanging out with your buddies.
Yeah, Yeah, because the second time both of us watched it, we said our expectations were lower in the film actually being
right, and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it more.
You pick up on the stuff like the Eagle Town and like the road flare comment.
Yeah,
so to pick up on stupid, quirky things like that. And it does. It makes it very enjoyable. You start to pick apart like the things that are campy and schlocky, and there's enough of it there to definitely put it in the schlock locker. So, does this movie have enough schlock value to recommend it?
I'll say yeah. I mean, you got your bad acting, you got your bad effects, you got Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
You got scantily clad women. It could have been. I could have used a little more violence. A little more blood spatter.
You like a little violence with your sex.
Yes, indeed, sir. So we're going to put, as far as like schlock value, or as our completely irrelevant little rating system, I give this movie 2 out of 3 mutant frog penises.
So it definitely arouses 2 of the 3. Not all 3.
True.
And you don't even get to see those 2 that we're telling you
Which
about.
is unfortunate.
Yeah. Basically what I had to say would just kind of repeat what you're saying. It has the bad acting, so I think the reasons to watch this are bull.
Yes.
Other than Roddy Piper. Let's just get that. Roddy Piper is pretty much the reason to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And he does a great job.
Yes, he does.
Bull.
Yes.
Just the overacting by him. So I have this like idea in my mind of what overacting is. And there's like Tommy Wiseau at the bottom from The Room. And to me, one of the greatest overactors of all time is Bruce Campbell. He does it, and it's good. It's entertaining. You actually buy it. So And then there's Nick Cage, which is a whole different
he's on his own
yeah.
level.
He's on his own planet of
Nicolas
overacting.
Cage, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Oh, my eyes! Eyes! Ah! Ah!
So both somewhere towards like the Bruce Campbell side of things for me. It's really entertaining.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He understands. Whoever the actor was is like, I'm a fucking talking bullfrog, and this is my one shot. So I'm gonna go for it.
I can't imagine what his reasoning was behind the way he played this character, but God, I'm glad he did, because it's worth a watch just for that alone.
I would like to say that 3 penises would be a reason to watch this, but
yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, they missed out on that one.
So I have the same score, 2 out of 3. Sandahl Bergman does a decent enough job.
She's fine. She's there and she's fine.
She's done stuff.
Yeah, she was in Conan,
Red
Sonja, and other stuff. She serves her purpose.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, that's the reason why I would watch it. I think Leroy in the white suit, Rory Calhoun, and his just like, that character just doesn't make any sense, but
no, not really.
It does.
It's fun to see that him kind of like relate to Piper. You know,
yeah.
Like they're old buddies. So.
Yeah, like it gives Piper, it's part of that backstory thing. It makes him, he's a part of this world.
So that's that about does it for Hell Comes to Frogtown. For Schlock Jocks, I'm Tim.
I'm Greg, and you take care of yourselves, you long-winded sons of bitches.